this is another one of those videos where if you haven't seen the last two videos, some things probably won't make sense. So I recommend you go watch that one, and if you've already seen that one, then enjoy the show.
Hey Kiwi, wake up.
Segway, what are you doing waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning? And wait a second, is your voice different?
Kiwi. You have to help me. EA hacked into me and is trying to make me of significantly lower quality. You have to review Mass Effect 3 to stop them.
Oh, I get it. This is one of your usual shenanigans of trying to get me to make a video that I said I was gonna make. Well, fine then. Prove it.
Unlock further interaction with this character by paying $9.99.
Oh, this is serious. Hey everybody, it's KiwiKatGamer and welcome to the finale of my 3-episode series of Mass Effect videos. Mass Effect 3 is the final installment in a trilogy of some of the best third-person sci-fi RPGs you could ever possibly find. But I guess if you made the award that specific, there's only a few other games that type could reasonably go to. In the same way Mass Effect 2 built off the shortcomings of the first one, Mass Effect 3 matched and exceeded the care and polish put into the last two games that made them so incredibly unique and special. So, I realized that my reviewing style, or lack thereof, is not actually very concise or informative at all. It's just kind of me gushing at the camera. So, here's a very brief recap of my thoughts on the last two games. Mass Effect the first one is a great start to the series with its introduction of the world and characters. It is fun, while still being sluggish and clunky in places. I give it a pass for being old, but I acknowledge that by today's standards, it's definitely not perfect. Also, you can't romance Tali, so 0 out of 10. Mass Effect 2 is an amazing sequel because it transformed the story into something new and unexpected while still keeping the same general feel. It got a little more polished at the expense of condensing everything down from the levels to the combat. Still an awesome game though, but certainly with flaws. Also, you can romance Tali, so overall, a much better game. And now to the third game, which I'm always so crazy excited to play whenever I play through these games, just because of how awe-inspiring the series is that draws to a close. Characters and places you've seen in the last game get a fresh coat of paint as they come to life in ways you've never even imagined before. I almost don't want to talk about the story at all, if for no other reason than I don't want to spoil it for people. Seriously, if you haven't played this game before, I hope at least I can get you interested in playing it. I guess I'm tripping over myself with this video. Just gotta take a deep breath and start somewhere. Movement always seemed to be an issue in these games. In the first one, everything was too slow, and in the second game, everything was too jagged, and things were too close together. This is true for both combat and exploration, but Mass Effect 3 solved both these problems in a great way without sacrificing the integrity of what made either of them good. It took the huge, sprawling, beautiful maps of Mass Effect the first one, and the side missions and interactivity of Mass Effect 2. Sprinkled in some parkour and the ability to track where any given person is to interact with, and you have yourself a masterpiece in my book. The world feels so alive and bustling with all the people strewn about the Citadel. You can overhear desperate civilians as they try to face the grim reality of their situation, and if you feel so inclined to help, it's as simple as overhearing them and talking to them with whatever item it is that they needed. You're also actually incentivized to help people beyond credits and XP. Helping people around the Citadel, or really anywhere, grants you military support for the final battle. It does a great job of making you, the player, feel impactful to this virtual world. Not only are you a hero because you're the main character, but you're the hero because of your choices you, the player, made. And really, that is where the heart of what makes Mass Effect great lies. Player impact to the story. Speaking of impact, Mass Effect 3 has some of the most touching moments with all these characters we've come to fall in love with, though we've come to fall in love with some more than others, you know what I'm saying?
Hey Kiwi, are you gonna tell them about the time you cried because you messed up and accidentally...
Up. No, I I was not going to tell that story segue. But yeah, you can romance Tally in this one. You know what that means? 10 out of 10, babe. But if you romance her in 2, like I did, it makes her romance seem even better. In fact, all the characters acknowledge the long journey these past 3 games have been, and they all seem just as eager as they are nostalgic for it finally to come to a close. And if you want proof that Tally is the best girl, look no further than this moment when you romance her and you're on her mission.
You worry too much.
I love you.
Keep us alive.
Tally is the only girl in all of Mass Effect that says that to you. Now let me tell you about the combat in this game. You think the combat was made infinitely better by the inclusion of Slam? You better get yourself ready for... Despite how unbelievably great this game is, you have to remember something. EA made this game, and their greasy little paws are all over it. Earlier I mentioned something about getting military units for the final fight, and while this is a great way to make side quests seem more important, and therefore more fun, there is a putrescent, oxidized other face of this coin. Galaxy readiness. Imagine Halo Reach. This is another shooter with a sort of bleak overall story where the cooperations of characters other than you play a big part into the story. Now, imagine if before you could do the last 3 levels of Halo Reach, you had to play 100 rounds of Firefight on each map. This is exactly what the Galaxy Readiness system does in Mass Effect 3, and it's just as tedious and annoying as it sounds. But EA couldn't just stop there, no. You see, there are different classes to play, but there's only one type of class that's free. Now, you could play as a Quarian if you're an engineer, but that would require you to get it from a loot box, and this is where EA's master plan is revealed. Luckily, you don't have to do any of this if you're playing on PC. With the magic of altering the game files, you can just have 100% Galaxy readiness at any given time in the game. And I guess I can understand why, for the sake of gameplay and story, you would want to have a multiplayer system where it actually impacts the main story, but it just does not work. EA also brought in some DLC, but to be fair, the DLC in this one is actually good and useful. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still hate that they put super important plot explanation behind the paywall, but at least the DLC are actually worthwhile. Which brings me to the ending of the game. The thing that people were so dissatisfied with that they are complaining about it to this very day. I personally have no problems with the ending available to you from the beginning, but this is the internet we're talking about, where no one is ever satisfied with good things ending. And so, BioWare made a DLC to make a true ending that's worse than all the other ones combined, in my opinion. I would talk more about this if I was allowed, but I don't want to give spoilers. If you want my thoughts on this, leave it in the comments and I'll make a private video or something. Mass Effect 3 brings this incredible series to a close with a bang. The combat and movement are tight and satisfying, the story and characters are better than ever, and the visuals have only improved since the last 2 games. I effing love Mass Effect as a series, and each game in the series has a special place in my heart for different reasons. This game gets a 9.8 out of 10, only marred by EA's hand in corrupting it, and maybe one day I'll touch on the horrors of Mass Effect Andromeda. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and what do you think? Have you played the game? Do you think I missed something? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time. Alright, that's it. Bye!